After the revelation for the first time in Mount Hira, Muhammad, peace be upon him, became the prophet of Allah. Muhammad, peace be upon him, left the cave and hurried home. His heart was pounding in fear of what he just experienced. He immediately went to his wife, Khadija, and explained what happened to him in the cave of Hira, saying, "I feared for myself." After hearing this, she calmed him down and said, "By Allah, Allah will never forsake you, for you uphold the ties of kinship, help the weak, honor your guests, give in charity, and help when someone is stricken with calamity." Khadija would become the first person to accept Islam. Not long afterwards, Khadija took Muhammad, peace be upon him, to go see her cousin Waraka ibn Nawfal, who was a Christian. When Waraka was told the news of the incident in the cave of Hira, he gave Muhammad an explanation. Waraka told him that the angel he met was the same angel who Allah had sent to Musa, Moses, with revelation. Muhammad had now become a prophet of Allah, and like the prophets of the past, it was his duty to guide the people to the truth. Waraka told Muhammad to be patient because some of the people of Makkah would deny the message of Islam and persecute him. In the year 619, the Prophet's uncle, Abu Talib, passed away. This was a significant loss for Muhammad, peace be upon him, because this man had raised him after the death of his parents. He was also a widely respected community leader who defended the Prophet from the persecution of the Quraysh. Now that his protector, Abu Talib, was no longer around, the persecution in Makkah increased and intensified. That same year, his beloved wife Khadija passed away as well. This year in the Prophet's life became known as the year of sorrow because of the losses of two beloved people. Despite the hatred shown from some of the people of Makkah during those 13 years, the number of Muslims increased and Islam was growing. Allah continued to send Jibril to reveal more verses of the Quran to Muhammad, peace be upon him. The Prophet would then teach these verses to the early Muslims. Migrating from Makkah to Medina, known as Hijra, the companions of Muhammad, peace be upon him, the early Muslims, were commanded to migrate to the city of Medina. Some were prevented and were not able to migrate, and others migrated in groups. All that was left of the Muslims in Makkah was the Prophet himself and two of his companions, his close friend Abu Bakr radiyallahu ta'ala anhu and his cousin Ali radiyallahu ta'ala anhu. The Quraysh plotted to kill Muhammad, peace be upon him, after realizing his companions had migrated to Medina. The Quraysh feared he would migrate as well, and the religion of Islam would spread to other parts of the world. Muhammad, peace be upon him, was informed by Angel Jibril about the murder plot. With this critical piece of information, he made a plan with his two companions to leave the city of Mecca safely. The night before leaving Makkah to migrate to Medina, the Prophet, peace be upon him, slept at Abu Bakr's house instead of his own home. He also told his cousin Ali to sleep in his bed that same night and tricked the Quraysh into thinking that he was unaware of the murder plot. When nightfall arrived, a few members from the Quraysh lied in wait outside the house of the Prophet, peace be upon him, waiting for him to come out so they could kill him. Their plot was foiled when they realized that Muhammad was already gone. They were caught off guard, and the person they wished to kill had escaped. Allah had saved Muhammad from the wicked plot of these people and revealed these verses. And remember, when the disbelievers plotted against you, O Muhammad, to imprison you or to kill you or to get you out from your home, i.e. Makkah, they were plotting, and Allah too was plotting, and Allah is the best of those who plot. Soon afterwards, the Prophet, peace be upon him, and Abu Bakr used this opportunity to leave Makkah and make their way to Medina. Ali would follow suit and make his way to the new city shortly thereafter. This major event in Islamic history became known as the Hijra and also marks the beginning of the Islamic calendar. Time in Medina. There were many Muslims already living in Medina before the migration occurred. During the Prophet's arrival to the city, the Muslims who lived there were very joyful. Many were proclaiming, "Allahu Akbar, God is great," out of happiness. Men, women, and children were coming out of their homes to meet him. When he first arrived at the city, he built the first mosque in the history of Islam at a town called Quba, located on the outskirts of Medina. At that time, the Muslims always faced Jerusalem when they performed their prayers, as it was their first Qibla. Soon afterwards, the direction of prayer was changed to Mecca, the city the Muslims had migrated from, where the Holy Kaaba is located. A strong sense of brotherhood between the migrants from Mecca, known as the Muhajirun, and the residents of Medina, known as the Ansar, was established by the Prophet, peace be upon him. He also set up treaties with different communities, including the Jews and the tribes already living in Medina. During his 10 years in Medina, the Prophet, peace be upon him, continued to spread the message of Islam, and thousands of people embraced the faith throughout Arabia. Naturally, his enemies in Makkah and elsewhere didn't sit idly by. The Muslims faced many important battles over the coming years, such as the Battle of Badr, the Battle of Uhud, the Battle of the Trenches where the city of Medina was under siege, and other battles which will not be covered in this beginner's guide. One of the most significant events during this time in the Prophet's life was the conquest of Makkah. After living in Medina for 8 years, the Muslims who migrated from their home were finally able to return. Even though the citizens of Makkah were the same people who oppressed the Prophet for many years, Muhammad, peace be upon him, entered into the city with no intention of harming anyone. Many of the people of Makkah who wronged the Muslims in the past were expecting a slaughter against them. It was only natural for the oppressed to exact revenge against the oppressor. But Muhammad, peace be upon him, was a human being with the best character. When he entered into the city, he made his way to the Kaaba to remove all of the idols which represented their false gods. Upon doing so, he addressed the residents of Makkah and said, "O Quraysh, what do you think that I am about to do with you?" They replied, "All good, kindness and pity. You are a noble brother and the son of a noble brother." Then the Prophet, peace be upon him, forgave them all, saying, "I say to you as Joseph, said to his brothers, no blame will there be upon you today. Go, you are the free ones." With the control of Makkah, Islam spread quickly across Arabia. This great victory also allowed the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, to finally fulfill his lifelong dream of performing Hajj, the sacred pilgrimage. We hope you enjoyed this part of the Prophet's amazing story. There's still so much more to learn. Please like this video and subscribe to our channel for more exciting stories about the Prophet Muhammad's life. Thank you for watching.